Folks, welcome back. Today I am going to do it. I am going to reveal the secrets of investing in this hobby and other TCGs and collectibles, and the secret behind running a business in the TCG collectible realm. And I am going to drop this bombshell on you, and after I do, a lot of you are going to click off the video. But I'm going to tell you want to stick around because we're going deep today. I am going to dig through the entire process of both sides, and I'm going to give you everything you need to become successful in this hobby. And the big secret is, there is no secret. Sorry. There's no tricks. There's no being in the know. There's no certain people that you can go talk to, right? There's no, king investor that you can go talk to and he's going to give you all the wisdom of the world when it comes to investing. Right? There's no business owner that you can go talk to and they're going to tell you the exact roadmap on how to build a successful company, right? There's just no tricks. Everyone is doing the same thing. Here's the better part. Everyone is selling the same thing. That's it. And a lot of people hate hearing that. A lot of people want there to be something more, right? They want to believe that these people who have been in the hobby for a long time or have massive investments or have a massive business, that they somehow crack the code, that they somehow have this major secret they're holding on to, that if I could just get in contact with them, if I could just get them to tell me, if I could drag it out of them, then I could be like them. No, you couldn't. You couldn't. Maybe you could, but not because of what they tell you, right? Now look, like I told you, I'm going to tell you as much as I can today. I'm going to give you all the tools that you need to be successful, but just knowing what everyone else is doing, it doesn't do anything for you if you don't put in the effort, right? If you don't get out there and put your nose to the grind and actually do it for yourself. If you don't actually, take the risks, right? If you don't actually, put all the knowledge into action, it's meaningless, right? And I think that is the one thing that people don't like to hear. They want this get-rich-quick mentality thing. They want to be able to just take this course or read this book or talk to this one guy, listen to this one piece of content, and then they'll know everything. And look, I'm not telling you hey, don't watch me, don't watch other content creators. There's a lot of help that you can find in videos, right? There's market updates where you may not know of something going on in the market, where having that knowledge now allows you to kind of get ahead of the general public and actually make plays and actually, helps your success, right? Or there's, ideas that, creators or other content that you consume can, kind of get in your head and help you see things another way and help you think outside the box and, kind of help you grow, in your investing or in your business, whatever it may be. And so it's not that there's no benefit to talking to successful people and listening to successful people. It's just that they're not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to do it for you, right? I'm not going to be able to, talk to you for, a length of a video or a 30-minute or an hour consultation and kind of give you all the tools you need to be able to go be successful tomorrow. You're not going to go from zero to Poke-millionaire like that. And the other thing is, all these people you see with successful businesses, right, that you look up to, all the people you see with massive Pokemon collections and investments, they didn't do anything special most of the time. Look, anyone that doesn't have too big of an ego to tell you that, which most people in the hobby don't, they'll straight up tell you, I'm not special. I didn't do anything special, right? It's not like we're professional athletes with skills that, 99.9% of the entire world don't possess, right? Anyone can do this, and you can do this. And so let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit. First off, let's talk about business and making money. We'll talk about investing later on. We talk about investing all the time. Let's talk about the business and making money side. I got a lot of comments in one of my videos saying, Alex, talk about all those different ways in the hobby that you can make money. Can I go in depth on that? I said, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that today. All right, Saturday video. Everyone usually is okay with listening to a little bit longer. We'll make this one a little bit longer video. I'll go into depth a little bit. And so, when it comes to starting a business, again, no secrets. There's no treasure trove out there where you find these uber cheap booster boxes, right? Distribution, guys. Distribution cost is anywhere between the lowest of low, $86 a booster box, up to brand new stores, they get charged $95 a booster box. That's it. Does that surprise you? I think it surprised some of you people, right? These big stores, they're not getting the deals you think. And you're saying, well, Alex, that's not possible. They're selling it for this on eBay or this on TCG Player, or they run these deals on their site. They're not making money. They are not making money. And I know some of you are looking at the screen right now saying, Alex, you're stupid. They wouldn't be selling stuff not to make money. They would. There are other benefits to not making money, okay? It's growing your store. It's growing your allocation with distributors. It's you use credit cards to buy all that stuff. You get, a 2% or whatever credit card they're using, money back, right? If they have deals set up with the platforms like eBay, it's about getting their sales volume higher so they continue to get lower fees and they get refunds on their fees at the end of the year with big checks from eBay, okay? If it's their own site, obviously they don't have any fees that they have. And so obviously they can sell a little bit cheaper, but sometimes they just want to move product because it helps keep their allocations higher. They're still getting their credit card rewards. So if they can even just dump a lot of that for break even just to move the money and put the money in something else, they're okay doing that. And so that's the first thing you need to understand. With a lot of this stuff, okay, everyone is paying about the same price. And everyone is selling for about the same price. Now, let's attack that subject. Everyone's selling for about the same price. I said about the same, okay? The reason you see some people be able to get more money than others is branding. The reason you'll see independent websites or eBay or TCG Player sellers sell their boxes for $110, $115, $120 even, when there's lowest listings on the market for $100. Or, there's, all these different listings all over the internet, on TikTok or wherever, and they're cheaper. One, okay, is because customers are lazy. People are lazy, go figure, right? They don't want to shop around. They get tied into one website and that's all they buy off of. They just buy on eBay. They just buy on TCG Player, right? They don't have alerts telling them all these different drops. They're not searching 10 different websites before they make a $100 freaking purchase. They're just logging on and buying the thing they want. Now, why are they paying more? Well, some of that has to do with, the search algorithm of eBay, right? If they pay for advertising, if they're, more of a top-rated seller, and how much sales they've done, all that good stuff, but that's algorithm stuff. And then same thing on TCG Player. If you're like in the direct program, you're going to get pushed to the buy box, and a lot of people just click that instead of search for the lowest listing. And, if people are buying multiple items, they'll buy from you because that way they can get reduced shipping and they're not going to buy like one item from a bunch of different people, even though it's cheaper. There's those things. But the main reason is branding. And when I say branding, I don't mean you need to go start some $1 million brand. I'm not saying you don't have to be full-time. You don't even have to take the business serious, right? It can just be like, I make a couple sales a month, right? While I'm doing my rest of my life. I'm working a job, I got a family, I'm doing this, and I don't know, I sell a couple things a month, right? But the brand is so important because it all has to do with trust. This hobby is ran on trust. It's such an emotional hobby to begin with. Without trust, you're gonna alienate, half of the freaking hobby because word spreads fast, and if people can't trust you in a collectible hobby, you're immediately blacklisted. And it's not just about, selling scammy products. It's about how you sell your products, how you ship your products, how you package them, all that stuff. So let's talk about it. Selling sealed product, right? People want to feel that they're buying from a legitimate source, that get their items from distribution, or at least, get their items from a reliable source. And that's why a lot of customers will pay more. They'll pay more just because they know it's a trusted store that gets their items from distributors or a trusted source, and they know they're getting 100% authenticated items that they don't have to think about it, and that's worth $5, $10, $15, $20 extra dollars for them, okay? Another reason people will buy, okay? And this goes for sealed product or honestly, single cards, PSA slabs, whatever. How you ship and package your items, right? Are you just throwing, things in a bubble mailer and sending it out? Or are you sending it, more protected in a box, bubble wrapped, making sure that there's no possible way that box or that card or that, slab is going to arrive to that person in any way other than the condition that it left your house or your shop, right? Also, shipping times. People want to know, everyone's used to Amazon now, right? Two-day Prime shipping, which is even faster now. They're used to getting their items fast. And so if they buy from one person and it takes you, 5 days to ship it out, and you ship it like media mail, and they don't get it for another 5-7 days, they're not going to buy from you again, even if you're the cheapest a lot of the time, right? They're going to buy from the company or the person that gets it shipped out the next day, that they ship it, ground or priority, whatever makes the most sense, and it gets there in 2, 3, 4 days, whatever it is, and they can count on you. They can count on getting their item when they want it, and it's packaged the way they want it. And they'll remember that name, right? They'll save you as a seller. They'll save your site. They'll save your store, your storefront, whatever it is, right? And they'll remember that logo. And that is one of the most important things if you're looking to make any amount of, any amount of sales in this hobby or build any kind of business. Again, not even full-time, not even a full-time, part-time. Just any amount of sales that is going to help you capture more of the sales and get higher dollar on these items, right? When you're searching through sold listings and you see things going for all different prices, it's not that some of those sales are fake and some aren't. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't fake sales out there, but a lot of the time, it's because one of two things. Or a few things, right? With TCG Player, okay, it can be because those people are on direct and they have the buy box, so people just click the buy box instead of scroll through. It can be because people want to combine orders. The storefront has a multitude of different items available, so they can buy everything in one place, even though everything's a little more expensive. They'd rather just make it easy and buy all from one person than shopping around for all the cheapest deals and buying here, 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 and here. Okay, so inventory's levels matter. And the other thing is obviously on eBay or even on your own site, it's paying for advertising. You can pay to be sponsored on eBay, go to the top of the list. If it's your own site, you're advertising it. Whether you're advertising it on your own as a content creator, you're paying other content creators to advertise it for you, giving out affiliate links, making shorts, making TikToks, whatever it is to push customers to your site, okay? And so all of those things kind of go into how the items are going to sell and what price points and what kind of premiums you can charge for your items. And so a lot of people miss that step. A lot of people, they start up and they just start selling without thinking about that, without understanding we're all selling the same freaking stuff, okay? Everyone who sells English product, again, is getting it for around the same price, and we're all selling the exact same stuff. You cannot differentiate yourself in this hobby, right? You're not like creating your own business with this patented product. You can't differentiate yourself on what you're selling, right? The only way to differentiate yourself is your brand, because everyone's selling booster boxes, okay? Everyone's selling ETBs. Even when it comes to singles, right? Maybe not everyone is grading all the same cards, but everyone's grading the same cards. There is someone out there, I'm sure, grading or selling the same exact play that you are or thinking about doing, right? The world's too big. There's people out there doing the same thing. There's people selling the same exact singles, right? If you click on any, there may be some, right? There may be some outliers where there's like one available, but 99% of every single out there, you click on it, and guess what? There's more than one listing, meaning there's more than one person selling the exact same card. Now, that card may be in different conditions, but even in the different conditions, there's people selling that same exact card in the same or similar condition. And so there's no way to really compete other than price and branding, making sure you're trusted so that maybe you can get more than the other person because you have more brand, you're more trusted, they want to buy from you, okay? With that being said, let's talk about some actual ways. I know, we're going long, I know, now we're finally getting the meat and potatoes of this, I get it, but stick around, you might learn something. How you actually start making money in the hobby, realizing the profits, okay? Again, there are no secrets, okay? When people say they buy out collections and they break them down and they make a profit, that's legitimately what they do. From the bottom tier, right? All the way down at the bottom to the top guys in the freaking hobby, right? When you go to, Collecticon, the store with all the most expensive products, they got every vintage product, every black label, every trophy card, poncho, whatever it may be. Guess what? They're doing the exact same thing as the single person in their basement, buying their first buy off eBay and breaking it down and then flipping it back on eBay and TCG Player or, on Facebook or somewhere else, right? They're all doing the exact same thing. And once you realize that and stop trying to get too smart for the hobby and get too cute with it and trying to find these methods to try to jump the line or skirt around the system, then you just get involved and start going for it. Now, there are definitely parts of the hobby that are less competitive than other parts, right? The brand new ultra modern part, that is going to be the most competitive spot of the hobby. It's going to be, you're going to have to be like with the most speed. You're going to have to be able to, really understand your margins and really make sure you don't get caught. But there are tons of cards now. There are tons of eras. There are tons of places to look in the hobby. And even though they may be less liquid places and they may be, less attractive places, there can be margins there. And so it's really just deciding what area you want to attack. Because again, you can attack them all. They're all available. There's people getting in the hobby right now that will be successful with vintage, with mid-era, with modern, with sun and moon era, XY era. It doesn't matter. They're going to be successful because people are already successful and they're not doing anything special, right? The only thing they're doing special is gaining knowledge and gaining experience and getting better each year. And so that's one of the ways, guys. That's it. Mark it down your paper. You buy out collections, and it's very easy, right? Because you go see what's in the collection, whether it be on a Facebook group, an Instagram post, an eBay auction, whatever out there, right? And all you do is just get on your phone. Go search up last sold listings, right? Of all of the main things in the collection. Make sure they're actually selling, right? And they're actually getting, a few sales. They're not just like one sells a month, or you can't even find a sale recently, so you don't even know if the price is right. Don't look at what people are listing it for. Look what they're selling for. Add it all up, right? And say, okay, there is $500 in market value here. If I can get this for less, $300 or less, there's a couple $100 in profit there. I'm going to eat some fees and shipping, but I will get my money back. I will make money. Okay? Now, to build from there, if you're, again, looking to build inventory, not just make quick cash cow flips, right? Once you do recoup your money and you sell, $300 plus of those items after fees and shipping and get all your money back, now you have inventory sitting there in your store, 100% paid for. You take that money you had, you go do it again. And you do that a few times, and now you've built up this store of inventory that is 100% paid for. And now every time you wake up in the morning and you have a sale, that's instant profit, right? Oh, you already have all your money back. You've been flipping, right? You keep getting your capital back and doing it again. All of that is now unrealized gains at $0 cost average. And so that's one of the ways. It's buying and selling collections, breaking them down, doing the legwork others don't want to do, right? They just want to be out of it. They just want to wipe their hands clean and get a big check. You give them that big check. You break it down, take the time, do the legwork. You make the money, right? Now, depending on how high end of collection it is or how sought after it is, there's going to be different variations of what percentage you're going to make on it, right? Whether it be like, 50%, 60, 70%, but that's okay. If it's more liquid and it moves faster, that's okay if you're only making 70, if you're getting it 70%, only making a 30% margin there. That's okay because you're going to get it back like that, right? The stuff that's going to sit a little longer, yeah, buy it for 50% of the market, right? You're going to be sitting on your capital a little longer, but I'm sure there's a few things in there that maybe you'll sell a little faster. Maybe you can auction some of the stuff and make sure you get back your capital because again, you only got to get 50% because, then the rest of it's all profit. And then just maybe take a little bit less on some of the things and you get your money back, let the rest sit, move on. That's it. It's real simple, okay? There are arbitrage plays. If you don't know what arbitrage is, it is buying the same item from one site and selling it on another site. This is becoming very popular, especially with all the drops nowadays. The Costco's, the Walmart's, Pokemon Center drops, TCG Player to eBay, eBay to TCG Player. The prices are not always optimized. Finding independent LGS websites that haven't updated their prices and the market's moved and you can buy and then flip it on the market because they haven't paid attention to the moves. And there's all those kind of plays. These are, I hesitate to ever say zero risk. These are as close to zero risk as you can find, right? Where you can find, an item at the store for $20 and you see it selling for $40. And all you literally have to do is buy the item, list it, and it sells, and then boom, you make a margin. You didn't do anything. Right? You just took it from there and gave it to this person. And so arbitrage plays really help. There's card arbitrage plays where literally, the same single on TCG Player near mint is selling for $5 and people are eating it up every day on eBay for $15. And so you can just buy a bunch of those singles, list them on the eBay store, and they sell slow. But again, at $15, if you buy 10 of them for $5, $50, you only got to sell like 4 or 5 of them. Now you've already got all your money back. Even after shipping and fees, you're in the profit. Now you got 5 of those cards sitting there. They can sell slow. You have zero cost basis in them. Okay? So arbitrage plays. Any way you can find arbitrage. Great way to make money in the hobby. Almost zero, as close to zero risk as you can possibly get. Right? All right. Another way to make money in the hobby is obviously you can sell sealed product. However, this is one of the most competitive markets in the industry. And English is much more competitive than Japanese, because Japanese, there's a bit more barrier to entry. You have to, go find the product from Japan to get the lowest cost. You have to import it. You have to take that risk of, transferring money, wiring money to those people and getting the product here cheap so that you can sell it here on the English market for a good premium. But there is more margin there usually than the margin on an English box, because all the distributors here all have relationships with these big stores. They can undercut you. They're paying less fees on sites. They can undercut you there. And so you can sell still product. A way to get away from all of the competition on English and even on Japanese is you can create your own website, or you can sell on eBay or Facebook or Instagram groups so you can get away from the fees. And then it's all on you to market it yourself. And so maybe you have a little bit of a social media following, you got a few friends that can share it for you, and you can try to drive your own traffic, which that is kind of a game changer when you can start driving your own traffic, because you're not relying on the sites to drive traffic for you, which is why they charge fees. And so you're able to sell at or more than even the market, because the people you're driving there, usually those people aren't going to be shoppers, right? Usually the people that click on an ad or click on a link and go to a site, they're just looking to buy the item, right? They're not looking to go, again, look around 100 different places, even though you would, right? You got to get out of your own way. You got to stop thinking the way you would. Like, oh, I would just go, check here, 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 and here and see what was cheaper. Yeah, but they wouldn't. Stop trying to make your customer like you and just accept the purchase that they do. Don't look at the customer and say, well, they paid me 110. They could have bought it here for 100. They're idiots. No. They're not idiots. They just value their time more than, shopping around a million different places to save $10. They just want to, buy from someone they trust, right? Real easy transaction. Again, they're going to get the item on time and they just buy it. So that's the way you can make money in the hobby. Obviously, what I do, one of the things is you can do rip and ships. You can open packs on screen. It doesn't matter where you do it, but you can do that. And it's fun, right? I participate in rip and ships myself, right? I'll go on, not as much as I used to, but time to time, I'll go on creators' channels that I know, and I'll buy some packs from them. It's fun. It's the same reason we rip packs. It's fun. It's an experience. It's entertainment. That's what all of this is. And so you're providing entertainment, and so you can make a profit doing that. Let's see, other ways to make money in the hobby. Grading cards. A lot of people are kind of one way or the other on this, but grading cards is a great way to make money in the hobby. Now, it's definitely a little risky, especially in the beginning, before you gain enough experience to get good at it and get enough 10s to outweigh the 9s so you're making a profit. Or, if you're going, the Beckett route to get more pristines and black labels eventually, or, whatever else you're going for. But grading cards, there's a lot of margin. It's one of the highest margin businesses in the hobby. And what I mean by that is, there's nowhere else in the hobby where you can take, a card or an item that's $10 and, pay a $15 service fee, and immediately now it's worth $100 to $200, right? You can't, there's not many collections out there that even store owners are going to be able to buy and see those kind of margins. And so grading has the highest margins in the industry, but again, it is the most risky. You are, unless you're grading with tag, which they're up and coming, you're relying on humans, right? So there's human error. There's, things that it doesn't always get a 10, even though you think it should. And, you're definitely taking on a risk, hoping that you get the right grades on the cards. But again, you can, become experienced and learn how to mitigate that risk. Make sure you're sending in cards that are easier to grade, that have high PSA 10 rates, that still have good margins. Understand what you're looking for on the grading. And, grading cards can be a huge benefit to you and a huge way to make money in the hobby. And it doesn't need to be the only way, right? It can be a kind of another arm of your business that's more of like a longer form. You got to wait for the cards and wait for them to come back and things like that. But it can be a way. Selling bulk, right? Just selling bulk, right? Nobody wants their bulk, right? Very few people out there. Now, come to my live streams, you think everyone loves bulk. I don't know. My live streams are crazy. Everyone's always asking me, Alex, do I get the bulk? You guys send the bulk, right? What about the bulk? But yeah, selling bulk Pokemon. Sometimes you probably find people out there to just give it to you for free. Here, just take it. Just take it. I don't even want to throw it away. Just take it from me, right? Or people will buy it for like half a cent a card, right? And this is a slow burn. This is going to be a slow game, but you can list all of those bulk cards all on TCG Player. And like I told you before, the more you build out your store's inventory, the more people are going to buy from you because they're able to get all the cards all at one spot, right? If I put it this way, if I could buy 100 cards from one set to try to complete the set, and you had them all listed at a quarter, right? But I could find, 50 of those cards cheaper out there. I could find this one for 15 cents here, 10 cents there, 5 cents there, whatever. Most people are not going to go shop around and find all these little, 5, 10 cent deals. They're going to say, you know what, this guy's got every card I want. Some are priced right, some are a little higher. I don't care. We're talking pennies here. I'm just going to buy all these cards from this guy, and 100 card order, 25 cents, you just make some money, right? And you can continue to do that. And the margins on bulk here, sorry, I lied to you. I said the margins on grading were the best out there. The margins on bulk can be the best out there in the entire hobby, right? You're literally turning half a cent into sometimes you'd be surprised what kind of cards come in bulk. Like you could have $2, $3, $4, $5 commons or uncommon trainers come in on bulk, right? But a lot of the bulk, 10 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, right? 75 cents, 25 cents off a half a cent card, right? And then TCG Player, right, has their envelope set at like $1.27 or something now, where an envelope only costs a few cents, right? To mail it's only like 70 cents a stamp. That's all the cost. Maybe you put a top loader, a few cents in there, something like that. A little PSA, bag or whatever to cover up the card. You're talking the whole entire transaction. You're gonna make 50 cents or so, 40 cents on the actual shipping as well, on top of all the profit you're making from the cards. And then it just becomes a game of how many of envelopes can you ship out a day, right? How many times can I ship out orders a day? Because every time I ship out an order, I'm making money on the shipping and I'm making money on all the cards I'm selling because I bought them all at half a cent, or heck, my friends gave them to me. I found people in the community that would send it to me for free, and I just paid the shipping charge or whatever. And so bulk is another way that you can do it. Very risk off, right? Very risk free. It's just a long game. It's a lot of legwork, a lot of sorting, things like that. But in the beginning, you usually have a lot more time on your hands than you do money. When that whole thing reverses and you start having less time and more money, well, then you can start taking, the more the risky plays, more the higher margin plays that are more capital intensive, but don't take as much as your time. So you have to always find kind of that pendulum of where you sit, right? If you have no money, well, you got to put in the time. If you got a lot of money, well, you don't have to put in as much time. Or you can hire employees and you can buy their time. But that is how you can make money in the hobby, guys. There's all those different ways to where you don't have to buy product and sit on it for 6 months and cross your fingers and hope it's a good set and goes up, and then say, oh, I got one Twilight Masquerade, I can flip this and make some money finally. There's a lot of other ways, guys. If you want to invest in this stuff, right, put it away. Don't look at it for 3, 4, 5 years, right? If you're here to make money, don't invest. I'm here, I know, Pokemon Investing Channel. He just said don't invest. Cancel, Alex. Don't invest. If you're trying to make an income from the hobby, a lot of people who run full-time businesses, they do not invest in this product. Talk to card shop owners. Talk to other people that are full-time. Most of them, unless they've reached a point where they have a ton of capital, they don't invest in the product because they roll all their money back into inventory to continue to rinse and repeat and churn and burn, right? It's not until their businesses get so large that they have enough working capital and enough inventory and they can't even find a way to spend it all, and they're like, okay, I'll start investing now. I'll start putting some money away, right? And so that brings us to the investing side, right? All right, my bread and butter. When it comes to investing, again, it's the exact opposite of running the business. You're not here to make an income, right? You're not worried about, trying to churn and burn and flip it as much as possible. You are trying to make the most passive income you can and make your money work for you most effectively. And a lot of people have a lot of different ways of thinking, whether it be making your money work as efficiently as possible and effectively as possible, whereas not having dead money, so purchasing products at the right times. This can work out in your favor, but it's more risky, right? It requires timing the market. It requires trying to guess when the products will reach their lowest and when the products will actually start to run. And now, there have been times in the past where people, say after the last reprint, if you know when that last reprint comes, not every set always gets reprinted, so you could miss out on some. But if you're okay on missing out on some, that's fine, right? But you can wait till after reprints come. We just saw reprints come with, Silver Tempest and Lost Origin. They dropped down to the 110, 120s. You could have bought in on that reprint. It wasn't the lowest they've ever been, but you could have bought in, and now you've immediately been up your money really quickly, all right? Or you can take the route of just buying in at release, at pre-release, getting in at, what's usually the lowest cost per box, especially nowadays, and just holding, right? Putting it away, holding, letting time do the work for you. And, depending on how you're going to structure that investment, if you're going to try to be a set picker and say, I am going to wait for just the most popular sets that it seems like everyone wants to open, that everyone loves, and I'm just going to put money into those, or do I want to treat it more like a mutual fund, and I'm just going to buy every set, good or bad, and I'm going to let them all age. Some will do good, some will do okay, but over time it'll all average out to pretty good gains, and I don't have to worry about trying to rack my brain about worrying about which set's going to do what when. You can take that route. But the investing thing, again, there's just no secret. I'm putting myself out of a job, guys, right? No one's going to watch this channel anymore. No one's even watching right now. I could say whatever I wanted right now because there's no way anyone is still clicked on this video. But for the 5 of you that are still here, I'll keep going for, just have a little moonlight session, a little kind of sitting around the fire outside on a fall night. Little fall night conversation around the fire. But where was I? Talking about investing? Were we investing? Yeah, we're investing still. Okay, so getting into the booster box thing, there's no secret, right? There's nothing I can tell you. There's nothing any of these investor channels can tell you that is gonna, make you money in investing in this hobby, because none of us know when reprints are coming on sets, if reprints are coming, how big the reprints are gonna be, what the demand's gonna be, how breaking culture, right, rip and ships are going to continue to affect the supply on the market and the hobby, right? What cards in the sets are going to catch fire at certain times, and what cards are going to become playable. And there's so many different factors that go into every little thing, where it's like, I get the questions all the time. Alex, what do you think of this box versus that box? What do you think about this card versus that card? It's impossible to know, because I don't know what factors are going to go into pushing which card when. I don't know the time frames, right? The win part. I don't know the time frames. I mean, I can get close by looking at the charts and kind of getting a feel of the market sentiment. I can say, hey, I'm buying these around these price points. They look good. I think, it looks like we're kind of gearing up for a move here. Maybe in the next month, 3 months, maybe 6 months or 9 months, but I'm feeling good. I think something's coming, right? And then, sometimes I'm right, and as long as I'm right more times than I'm wrong at a high enough percentage, and I make enough margins on the things I'm right on, then you do well, and you continue to fight another day and keep going and put some money away and grow your investment. But the most important thing is being okay with being wrong and not being too hard on yourself. And this is hard for people online because, if you ever put yourself out there like I do, or if you ever make definitive statements on Discords or Instagrams, or you make posts about it, it's hard because it's very public when you're wrong. Now, no one will ever give you credit, right? I never get credit for anything I say, but no one will ever give you credit when you're right. They're only going to come at you when you're wrong, right? They're going to point out your one wrong that you've had out of 100 rights, and they're going to focus in on that and talk about how bad investing is. And you have to be okay with that. Now, as long as it doesn't affect your actual finances and your actual investment long-term and your whole portfolio, you don't need to worry about it, right? You just let everyone talk their shit and you move on. But that's probably one of the most important things, is being okay with being wrong, right? Being okay with putting your money where your mouth is, right? Seeing the play, right? Having the vision and saying, you know what? This is what I believe, and I'm going to put my money to work. I'm going to put those things away. And no, maybe there isn't any data to show that this is 100% going to work. And maybe this is kind of a shot in the dark. Maybe this one piece does just fizzle out and become nothing, right? Maybe this Charizard card doesn't become a good investment. No one does want it in the future. Maybe it is overprinted. Maybe there is too much pop report, right? Maybe these things are overprinted. Maybe they're going to get reprinted again into the ground, right? But making those plays and trusting yourself, after you've had enough experience in the hobby, maybe you make some bad ones in the beginning, but you're going to learn from it, right? And you don't ever start out big, right? You never go all in this stuff, but you learn from it, and most of the time, you're going to continue to start making better plays over time, and those plays are going to stack up, and they compound, and they make all of your misses look so much smaller. And let's be honest, guys, a lot of times in this hobby, what misses look like, especially if you're buying in at the right times, the right price points, you're not like trying to chase things up and buying into the hype, you're not really losing a lot of time in this hobby. A lot of people always ask me, Alex, what's your biggest mistake you made in the hobby? And I always have the same answer. It's not buying more. That's always it. And people always think it's a cop-out answer. I've literally never had a huge loss. Never. And I'm not saying that to lie to you. I'm not saying that to sound superior. It's just very hard to lose if you approach the hobby conservatively, right? I mean, the most I've lost is like in the hundreds. I've never lost in the multiple thousands. Never happened, right? Because if you get things wrong on sealed product, what happens, right? It goes down for a little bit, comes back up later, right? If you get things wrong on slabs and you either graded the slab yourself and held it, or you bought them when they were low at like $30, $40, $50, $60, what happens? What, it goes down to, $50, $40, $30, $20, right? Like, it's very hard to lose a huge amount of money if you're not making huge amount of risky plays. And I just don't take those plays, right? I'm not out buying $10,000 slabs that may go to $20,000 but may drop to $5,000. I'm not buying $20,000 vintage boxes that may run to $40,000 but may also drop to 15 or 10, right? I'm not making those plays. I'm making very conservative, well thought out plays, right? A lot of the slabs I keep, I've graded myself, so I have a huge margin already worked into them. All the sealed product, I get at the lowest cost, so I have a huge margin worked into it. Even the boxes I'm buying now, I'm buying through collections where I get them at either 70, 75, 80, 85% of the market, so I'm already getting in under market. So even if things drop 10, 15, 20%, I'm still basically even, if not down just a little bit. And so I don't take unnecessary risks. And so I'm not going to have these huge loss stories like someone else out there has. Now, other than the pandemic, right, where everyone kind of got rich, I also don't have any crazy win stories, right? I don't have any of those anymore. I'm not going to be one of those guys that said, hey, I made 20 grand investing in this one collection or this one card or one product. I don't have those stories. So, if you don't have the lows, unfortunately, you don't get the highs either, right? I mean, I got lucky on this one piece box. It went from like, $100 to $1,000. I did really well on that. Or, I've had some good plays like this year, like a Yu-Gi-Oh box or, some of the other things, but, 151 maybe, or, some of the slabs I've kept with the Sword and Shield Alt Arts. They had 100, 150% gains. But guys, that's not crazy. 100, 150%. Those aren't like to the moon, right? I'm just never going to be one of those guys that sees those 1,000% moves probably, because I'm not making the 1,000% move plays where I can lose 1,000, I can lose 100% of my money, right? I'm taking the plays where it's like, yeah, it's usually going to make 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, maybe sometimes 100, 150%. But if I lose, I'm only losing 10, 20, maybe 30% of my money. And so that's a decision you have to make for yourself, is how much risk you want to take. How active you want to be in your investments, right? How closely you want to watch them. Do you need to be really in tune with the market, or do you just want to kind of set it and forget it? Hey, I'm going to buy every set, put it on a shelf, buy every set for 90, 95 bucks, not look at it for 3 years, go on about my life, raise my family, work my job, just, enjoy everything else out there. I'll pay attention to the hobby a few times a week, maybe check the prices once a month, and I don't want to deal with it that much. You can be very successful doing that. So you decide how active or passive you want to be with the hobby. That will really decide on how you're going to invest. But unfortunately, investing is a time game, guys. It's a time game, right? I mean, if you look at the S&P index or any mutual fund or any stock that you wanted to invest in, if you look at any, 1, 3, 6 month period, 1 year period, even like a 2, 3 year period, you're going to see all kinds of crazy ups and downs and moves and twists and turns. But when you zoom out 5, 10, 20 years, it's a very gradual graph, right? Very gradual. And the same thing goes with Pokemon, right? What's funny is if I showed you charts of all of these Pokemon boxes in the first 2, 3 years, you're going to see all kinds of crazy. Up to here, gets reprinted, goes up again, gets restocked. It's all kind of crazy. And then what you're going to see is, when you zoom out like 5 years, you see a little bit of stuff, but then it just kind of, grows over time. And if you weren't in the madness at the time, you don't even know all that stuff went down. Right? People that weren't here, 5, 7, 9 years ago, they don't even know what happened with Roaring Skies. They don't know that it came out of the gate super hot and it went to like $150 a box, and then some of the cards in it got super playable and the shaming was all the rage, and then it went to like $300 a box, $330 a box, and then it got reprinted into the absolute ground really late, like years after it was released, and it dropped all the way down to the 70s, and then it kind of sat at the 70s and 80s for years, or a couple years, and then it started to come back, and then it had the big boom with COVID, then it came back down, and now it's all the way up at its all-time highs basically in the 700s. You don't know all that. You don't know all that. All you know is, the graph, it had an up, it had it down, and it kind of steadily rose back up over the years. And you're like, oh yeah, Roaring Skies is 9 years old. It's a $700 box. Okay, makes sense, right? And so that's the mindset you need to have with all this stuff. When you're seeing all this about reprints right now, Paldea Evolve's getting a reprint. Oh no, it's coming down. It was 140 and now it's 130. The case was 900 and now it's 800. It's meaningless if you're worried about what it's gonna be in 2026, 2027. It's all meaningless, right? Guys, Lost Origin. Remember that one? It was what, $200 and something a box, got reprinted down to like 120, 110, and now it's right back to 200. And it's like, if you would have blinked, if you would have somehow not been looking at the hobby for the past, I don't know, like, what, 6-9 months, you wouldn't even know it happened. You would have not even known a reprint happened. You would have came back and been like, oh, yeah, Lost Origin still about 210. Okay, it hasn't really moved. And everyone would be like, what do you mean? This happened, then this happened, and then you're like, oh, I don't know. I only check my stuff like once a year. I don't know. Right? And so that's what's funny about this stuff, guys. Have that long-term mindset, the investing side, it'll take care of itself. But the main thing I want to get through everyone's head is, if you're looking to make an income, do all the stuff I talked about first. Do the business stuff, right? Start out doing all of that, and once you make an income off of that, you have some profits, and you got some inventory, and you got working capital now to keep buying more inventory, then you can start putting some money into a sealed investments, put them away, out of sight, out of mind, and don't worry about it. The last thing I want to address is the marrying of the two, right? A lot of people who get wrapped up in the business side, it's very hard for them to ever become investors. And the reason is they start to see everything as inventory. So even if they bought something as an investment, the minute they see it can make a profit, or the minute they can, use that money somewhere else, they immediately think of selling it. And the best way I can tell you to kind of get yourself out of that mindset, which is hard, it's a hard mindset to break, I understand. And that's why I recommend everyone to have enough working capital for their business so that they're not tempted to reach into their investments. But the best thing I can say is, you don't ever look at your 401k, right, and think, and maybe some people do. I know there are people that cash out their 401k to start businesses, so I'm not saying you never do, but most people, right, you don't ever cash out your 401k to make other investments, right? You don't look at the market and say, you know what, Tesla just took a dip, right? They just had a bad earnings call. I could take some money out of my 401k, or I could take a 401k loan, and I could invest it in Tesla. And then once Tesla goes back up, I'll sell that, I'll put it back here, or maybe I could just sell it all and then keep it all out and just keep churning and burning. I can make more that way. You don't think that way, right? Because you're not trying to be a trader, right? You're trying to put money away for an investment to grow long term. And the reason it's hard when you're running a Pokemon business is because it's all married together. It's all the same product, right? But even traders on Wall Street, right? Even traders have long-term investments that they have 401ks, Roth IRAs. So that's their business. They're in the stock market business. They're trading all day to make an income, but they're still putting some away in the same exact stocks that they're trading, right? Real estate people, right? There's real estate people that flip houses for a living. They buy houses, they fix them up, they flip them. But a lot of them, they also keep some as investments or rentals, right? And they're not thinking to themselves, oh man, I could sell that house, take all that money, and buy a bigger flip and flip more. They're not thinking that, right? Because it's all about having a good marriage of the two. You got your income producing business. You also have your passive investing, building wealth side of it, right? And so try to have that mindset when you do transfer over to the investing side. If you are running the business, it is separate. It's an entirely different mindset, right? Because eventually, maybe some of you flip until you die. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you no longer want to spend the time flipping items, most people, and you're going to want to fall back on something to live off of, which is, however many investments you have, whether you're in real estate, whether you have, stock market investments, 401k, mutual funds, whatever it may be, right? And you'll have your Pokemon sealed investment. Whereas, you can sell that off, or you can just send it all to a consignment service and they can sell it all for you as you want the money, right? Takes a little bit of work. I never said it was a push button. It's not a push button sell, but if you need, want to start selling off your investments in retirement, you can just package up some cases, right, each month, send them to a consignment service, they'll sell it for you, send you a check, and then there you go. You have your living for that month or that year, whatever it may be. And so those are kind of the ways you can go about being successful in business, being successful in investing. And so I know this was a long one, guys. I don't even know how long it's been. I haven't even looked at the time, but I do hope it was thorough. I do hope it helps and answer your questions. And I do appreciate every single one of you who stuck around for this. If you're still here, do it again, guys. Give me a double bacon cheeseburger and a chocolate milkshake. Guys, thanks so much for watching the videos. Subscribe to the channel if you're not yet, and I'll be back here in a new one soon. I'm out.